Second and 5 at the 47. Roethlisberger takes a shotgun snap. Going to throw it. Fires it. Is picked off. Intercepted by Taron Johnson in midfield. Running down the right sideline. He's going to score. He's going to score. Touchdown, Buffalo. Touchdown, Taron Johnson. The Bills get a touchdown pick from Taron Johnson.
Yeah, look, that was a huge play in the game. They were down 7-3 at that time. They take the lead, and they would never look back. And guys, going back and looking at the video of this one, the Steelers, Buck, were 1 of 10 on third down. So I went back and watched all those third downs. Tell you what they did, man. They were in a lot of man coverage, and they beat up those wide receivers. Did not that offense get in any type of rhythm. And these weren't 3rd and 20s. All those third downs were under 10 yards. So they were convertible third downs, and they just challenged them at the line of scrimmage. On a couple times, they put Claypool on his back. So it just, to me, they got no rhythm. They had absolutely nothing going. And I thought clearly when you watch that tape, the Buffalo Bills were the more physical team. Not something you see often when you're watching the Pittsburgh Steelers play.
You know, DJ, I'm going to be a little more spicier with my language when it comes to the Steelers on offense. They're soft. They're just a very soft offensive team. And you just don't typically hear soft synonymous with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I think it's telling, and it's been telling over the last month. The Pittsburgh Steelers can't run the ball in gotta-have-it situations, meaning short yardage, goal line, and 4-minute offense. They cannot run the ball. And when you can't run the ball and you're having to rely on all of these intricate passing routes, I think it speaks volumes about the identity of your ball club. And Ben Roethlisberger has said in the past that it didn't matter whether they ran it or not. He changed his tune after last night's game. And I think it's apparent. The Pittsburgh Steelers cannot continue to throw the ball because they don't have a legitimate deep threat, and their quarterback doesn't have the ability to make throws down the field accurately, and so they play in a phone booth, and they're just not good enough to play that way.
Yeah, they had under 75 rushing yards, Bucky, for the 6th time in their last 7 games. They're averaging under 90 yards a game. No Super Bowl champion has ever been this ineffective in the run game. And it feels like James Conner just doesn't have any juice back there. It doesn't feel like there's much room for him to get anything done either. I know that we've seen some Jalen Samuels. We've seen Anthony McFarland. We've seen some of Benny Snell as well. It's just nothing has done the trick for the Steelers' run game thus far, and that's a real problem, I think, for this team in particular. And the offense as a whole feels a little bit less imaginative, a little less creative than we saw earlier in the season when we saw creative ways to get Chase Claypool the ball. We saw Ray McLeod getting in on the action as well. Just haven't seen any of that come together. It feels stagnant for the Steelers offense. And then for Buffalo, man, I mean, it was bad early on offense. Like Josh Allen could not buy a completion. And it felt like even though the Steelers rush wasn't necessarily getting home, I think they only ended up sacking him once. It was affecting the pass game from the Bills. And then, boy, did they turn it around in the second half. And I got to say, I mean, DJ, you mentioned the defense. That pick 6 from Taron Johnson at the end of the first half was a game changer because Buffalo came out in the second half. Josh Allen was perfect in the third quarter, did not throw an incompletion. And then we saw Stephon Diggs kind of start to take over. Some of that quick passing game, get the ball out of Allen's hands quickly to defeat that rush. And they really started to figure things out. Diggs with a little bit of that run after the catch ability. He's the first receiver in the NFL this year to 100 receptions. And guys, I mean, like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but in the end, Buffalo feels like hands down more of a contender in the AFC than the Steelers at this point.
Well, I'll just conclude it with this. When we watched that game earlier this season with Buffalo when they played against Kansas City, remember, they just played coverage. They played coverage the whole game. They backed out of the box, and the Chiefs ran the ball down their throats. I think now you're starting to see the confidence they have in this secondary. So I'm looking forward to a rematch there to see if they might try and challenge the Chiefs a little bit. Hey, you're going to get beat. You're going to give up some plays here or there, but challenge them.
I like that.
With the secondary they have, it's a really good group. All right, Buck, let's stay on that subject there with the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Chiefs blow past the Dolphins.
Matt Hawk, the Des Moines native, punts it away. Left-footed punter taken by Hardman. First time he's going to return today. And he's got an edge at the 40, 45. Hardman in midfield, 45, 40. 2 blocks, 30, 25. Jet fuel, 15, 10, 5. Get your boarding pass. The Jet is taking you to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. Punt return for a touchdown, the first in the career of McCole Hardman to go with his kickoff returns for touchdowns.
The Kansas City Chiefs remind me so much of the Golden State Warriors from a few years ago. That is crazy. Because this was maybe the worst start that I've seen Pat Mahomes have in his NFL career. He's taking 30-yard sacks. He's turning the ball over. They're giving the ball to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are up 10-0. And before you know it, they have 30 straight points that they put up on the board. It is like watching Steph Curry and Klay Thompson knock down 3 after 3 after 3 with their big play ability. And I think it's discouraging and demoralizing to be a team. Yes, the Miami Dolphins closed and kind of got back into the game late with a fourth quarter flurry. But the Kansas City Chiefs just have this ability to make a run that can completely blow you out the water. And I don't know how you prepare for it, because it is unbelievable how they can put points up on the board in so many different ways.
Yeah, they are calm amidst the chaos, and it was chaos early on in that first quarter for Patrick Mahomes in this offense. He had the tip pass that was Byron Jones' first interception, by the way, since 2017, which I found kind of strange and hard to believe considering the contract he got from Miami. But look, he got it. And so there you had that was the one interception. And then you had the Mahomes kind of like feeling, his ability interception, kind of moving, drifting to his left, trying to throw back to his right, overshoots Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I mean, the 30-yard sack was, again, it's one of those ill-advised things, but you've seen Mahomes make the play before, so I get why he was trying to do it, right? And it just seemed like, all right, the doors are opening here for the Dolphins to figure this out, but there was still so much time left. There were still so many ways that the Chiefs can find the answers to come back. You had Tyreek Hill in the run game, right? The 32-yard run for a touchdown, not to mention his explosive play in the pass game that went for a score. You get the McCole Hardman punt return. You get the Chris Jones safety. When the chips are down for Kansas City early, like, their buyback is better than any team in the league.
5 guys with catches of 25-plus yards in this game. So, I mean, you talk about dynamic and explosive, and that's why I'm looking forward to seeing, some of these rematches with the Chiefs, because it's kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't. You want to play kind of that soft approach in the back end, keep everything in front of you, and force them to finish drives. Well, we've seen that not be successful, and we see teams go up there and challenge them, and you see what happens in this game, you get beat over the top. So it's an impossible offense to defend for 4 quarters. You can do it for a half, maybe even 3 quarters on some days, but eventually they're going to explode, and that's what happened in this game against Miami.